Varus is a highly versatile marksman. He has good utility, can be played either spell or auto-attack based, and in this Varus guide you get everything you need to know in less than 5 minutes. Varus's biggest strength is probably his item flexibility. Since crit builds, lethality builds, and on-hit builds all work on him, you can always adapt your item choices to the current meta. Some champions rise and fall with buffs and nerfs to certain items or even entire item classes, but Varus can simply experiment with new playstyles since his abilities are so flexible and just universally good. The great pitfall here, of course, is that if you don't keep up with the meta, you might end up building Varus incorrectly, which will hurt your overall win rate. Varus's passive is incredibly useful with standard marksman items and with lethality items alike. Attack speed is more useful the less you already have, and in lethality builds you are typically not buying any, instead focusing on huge individual attacks. In this case, your passive simply allows you to get more of these high-value attacks, greatly increasing your damage. The reason this ability is still good with attack speed items is that it gives you more attack speed based on your bonus attack speed, creating a feedback loop that pushes your stats to ridiculous levels. You can go absolutely berserk in teamfights after just one takedown. Varus's Q is your bread and butter spell. It is a very long-ranged skill shot, dealing huge damage once it is maxed out. This tool is also your main payoff for building lethality, since it is both spammable from a safe distance and highly impactful when it connects. It is also possible to enhance your Q with additional execute damage with your W. Varus's W does not only come with passive on-hit damage and blight stacks that can be detonated to shred tanks, but also with an active effect many people tend to forget about. When going all in, always make sure to press W before you start charging Q, or else you just miss out on free damage. While the synergies with attack speed items are quite obvious here, W's blight passive also greatly improves lethality Varus's matchup against tanks. Varus's E is a good utility spell due to its slow and healing reduction, and in lethality builds it is also a crucial damage spell. It is maxed second in lethality builds and third in crit and on-hit builds. For the most part though, you will be using this for lane harass and to detonate your W stacks in mid-game skirmishes. But of course, you can also use the slow to make it easier for you to connect your most important spell, which is your ultimate. Varus's ultimate is one of the best teamfighting tools in the game. While catching just one opponent with this will usually result in a kill, the potential to snare multiple enemies with one button can be game-winning when fighting over important objectives. But even when you only trade this for your enemy's flash cooldown, it will be worth it. Just like clicking the subscribe button will be worth it. As I've said, Varus's runes and items can shift rather drastically with the meta, and more creative niche builds are also always an option. Therefore, I will show you the build that is overall the most consistent and best performing as of right now. Your rune page is Lethal Tempo, Presence of Mind, Legend Bloodline, and Cutdown, with Taste of Blood and Ingenious Hunter secondary. As you can already see from this page, we are definitely tapping into the standard marksman items here. With these in combination with your passive, you will quickly reach the hard attack speed limit of 2.5, but Lethal Tempo allows you to just break that limit. You stack it super quickly, and the bonus attack range it provides makes navigating teamfights even easier for you. Presence of Mind allows you to keep spamming your spells during teamfights, which is especially important due to your W's cooldown resets. Taste of Blood and Legend Bloodline are there for early and late game sustain respectively, and Cutdown is useful because you will be playing teamfights front to back for the most part. Ingenious Hunter is extremely strong in combination with your first item, which is Gale Force. Varus is immobile, and this weakness can be exploited by the enemy, so you must find a way to circumvent that. Gale Force fills this role perfectly, as its dash allows you to quickly get out of range of an approaching assassin, or to dodge a crucial skill shot without wasting your flash cooldown. And especially once you finish your second item, Phantom Dancer, your kiting with raw movement speed by itself is oftentimes enough to outplay opponents who rely on locking you down. At this point you have a lot of utility and safety, but once you complete your third item, Rageblade, you will also have tons of damage. Rageblade is an insane item on most AD carries, but many cannot use it properly because it also eliminates all crit scalings on their spells. Varus doesn't have any of these, so he doesn't need to worry. Quite the contrary in fact, since Rageblade of course also works with your W. From here you should build Guardian Angel, which by the way also works with Ingenious Hunter, and Wit's End for extra safety. The order obviously depends on the enemy team, and sometimes one of these items might be rather superfluous and can be swapped for one of these instead. While this Varus build certainly works, it is not the one I personally play. There is this other really clever Varus strategy that is especially strong in solo queue, so feel free to check that out by clicking the link on your screen right there.